Fox Mining live here. So we have almost all the information ready for the YouTube to start. It does take a little while for everything to get started, but guys, I do want to say just it's been a pretty great week so far. Just had a big rest on the weekend, and yet again, it's one of those situations in crypto. I think this was like the most perfect rest weekend because not too much has happened in crypto, to be fair. All right, to be fair, after we're going to take a look at the latest developments of kind of all the FUD surrounding OKX a little bit. We have Filecoin still doing its downward trajectory thing, but overall this weekend has been relatively calm, to be fair, and that's a good thing. Crypto needs a break once in a while, and finally we have gas fees. Like, I think that's the biggest surprise this weekend. I'm just gonna eat gas station that for most of this week gas fees were down. I mean, wow. That's super wow, right? If you think about it, 20 Gwei, I haven't seen that for a long time. And I did like the stuff I did on the weekend was mostly to consolidate, to get myself out of some weird farms that I've been going through. So I did a little bit, like, you just wake up, you're like, oh, gas is cheap. It costs like 70 something cents to do our approval, finally. So it's been good. So it was mostly a rest week for me, and that was kind of the kind of objective for my personal objective was just get out of bad coins. Sometimes you listen to some people, and this is kind of cool as well. It's like a lot of times this all happens almost to everyone in crypto, right? Where you get this hot tip from a new friend and you're like, okay, you know what, I'll throw 1,000 there, we'll see how it goes. Because sometimes, especially during the bull market, sometimes hot tips work, sometimes they don't, sometimes they do, right? So a lot of times I'm just like, whatever, I'll throw some test money into this, figure it out from there. And a lot of times they don't work out. Sometimes they work out maybe 1.5x. A lot of times they don't work out. Sometimes, very rare times they do a 5x. But anyways, so I took a lot of time and just said, this weekend, a lot of coins I don't believe in, don't care about. A lot of times I don't even talk about them on a channel. I think that's another thing as well. I only share stuff that I've done proper due diligence with, or stuff that I actually care about. If it's just a hot tip, I'll try it, I'll bite the bullet, but if it fails, it fails, right? But anyways, I just got out of a bunch of those, like, really toxic stuff. Yeah, that was pretty good. It felt really good as well. Like, especially during the whole crazy bull run. I mean, the DeFi bull run that we had with the whole yield farming spree, there were considerable amounts of, let's lower expectations a little bit. Let's reduce what we're looking for. If they have a reasonable sounding white paper and they mention DeFi somewhere, and why not give it a try? And it's to a point now where we realize that completely doesn't work. No one cares about that. It's a situation where most things don't float anymore, and you got to deliver some sort of concrete value. And this is what kind of setting the tone for the coming month as well. I feel like it could be possible that we have a whole month of just, yeah, it's, calm down a little bit. And that seems to be what's happening overall. Not financial advice, but that's overall in the market. And then we have Cryptogram saying gaming does that. Been gaming a little bit as well, a little bit this weekend. Was playing some generals.io with the folks on Discord. So if you guys want to join Discord as well, let me just send you guys a link. We've been playing games, we've been sharing information, we've just been chilling as a whole community for a while, and I've been really enjoying that with everyone. So that's been cool. So anyways, so this session, what we'll do is we'll take a kind of overview on the markets, and we'll just discuss what else is up. I think it's kind of interesting, and something that's I think that's good is that overall, the good thing about recently is that the OKX FUD, which was supposed to come, did not drastically affect the market that much, which is great, right? I think this was the bigger problem as well for a while, where OKX, unfortunately, all right, unfortunately, OKX had one of their senior members cooperate with the Public Bureau of Investigation. Essentially, he was taken away by the police. And that caused considerable amount of FUD on Friday as the news broke out and as withdrawals got suspended on OKX. But the good thing is that overall, the markets kind of realize, China FUD comes and goes, right? It's not the biggest deal in the world. We hope he's okay. And I think a lot of people actually really like Star. Most likely the person involved is Star. I think that's like 95% of the evidence is pointing towards that. And Star, obviously being one of the original founders, he was the big man in charge of OKX. When before 2017, OKX was one of the biggest exchanges in China, especially doing fiat transactions, fiat gateways. And this is why he also has the keys, right? So he has a magical keys, and I kind of approximately calculated that to be more than $1.5 billion. This is by looking up at all the assets saved on OKX. So he has the keys to a lot of money. Obviously, this was a big win. Like, this is a big lose for centralized finance, right? Because obviously someone can just be hold so much power that there's no longer withdrawals on OKX. But at the same time, it's a big win for decentralized finance because none of that actually happens, right? There's no one figure, one person possessing that amount of crypto. We do have liquidity pools, right? Uniswap, you can make some liquidity pools, but at the end of the day, you don't have someone with billions of dollars holding those keys. And people were asking questions like, oh, why can't multiple people hold those keys? I mean, like, would you trust anyone with $1.5 billion plus worth of cryptocurrencies that they can just take away with them? There's very, very few people who will be willing to do that. A lot of people can be bought for $1.5 billion. Let's just say that. So, that's there. We also have the plant where our plant's back today. I've been doing plant rescue for the most of this week, actually. Yeah, the plant was suffering a little bit, so I finally gave it some sun, lots of water, and finally, if you can see it, it's actually in pretty good shape. Like, I'm pretty happy. I'm pretty happy with the results. The leaves are much stronger. Yeah, I've been pretty happy. But anyways, that's it for the intro. What we're gonna do is we'll talk a little bit about our podcast. New episodes coming this week, and there's been quite a few interviews as well. So if you guys are interested, make sure you check out Bitcoin Out of the Box. That's my only minor show this morning. Bitcoin Out of the Box. Check that out. We have new episodes coming up very soon, and preparing a lot of info as well. So guys, make sure you click the like button as well before we get started. And yeah, we'll have plenty of a good time. And thank you all for watching, by the way, as well. It's been really, really cool. So quickly, market review, market overview. Just a big nothing happened, really, to be honest. I'll be super honest with you guys. Bitcoin, Ethereum is just like stagnant AF. We recovered. So like I was saying, from the OKX situation, we recovered. That's great. So we did have a dip that happened on Friday, but you know what? It wasn't the biggest deal. No one really cared. You can see that little kind of red line. I was trying to, even just now, I was trying to look for it. And it's a situation where you're like, you know what? Where is that dip? Where is that dip? Because you kind of erased that dip already. I mean, we're pretty much at levels that were kind of like before the dip we're here and after the dip we're here. So it's not a big deal at all. Bitcoin just said, you know what? Let the FUD be FUD. Who cares? Who cares, right? We'll still move on. And the same thing goes with Ethereum as well. ETH, we're sitting pretty much at 375. We're just kind of happy there. No problem. Why not? And then we have pretty much no movement, right? If you look at the top 100 coins, barely any movement. It's just still. I mean, if you look at the biggest winners and losers, let's just rack that up. UMA sure moved 20%, but everything else, if you look at it, OKB dropped, but then it went up, recovered a little bit, signifying that the market, that FUD has been dispelled. But relatively everything else is below double digits. That's pretty weird, right? And Amplify, yeah, it moved up, but it moved down again. So not the biggest deal in the world. And Filecoin, we'll talk about Filecoin in a sec as well, because Filecoin's been on a one-way trajectory down, and that makes sense, especially if if something pulls a 100x, there's not much room for it to go, right? It needs to let off a little bit of steam. Needs a little bit of steam and pull off. Not financial advice, but that's kind of the case with Filecoin. So overall, this week has been more or less calm, and this is, I feel like, a situation that we need to get used to, reaccustomed to. I mean, if you remember videos from 3, 4, 5 weeks ago, it was insanity, right? We had double digits, like 20% for 10 coins in the top 10, top 100, and quite a lot of action. But I feel like this is the time where we have to move, and we've experienced this before, right? Especially like the time that I still feel like I remember the most was actually in 2017. 2017, we had one of the biggest runs for crypto going up in the history of crypto, right? That's absolutely true. And I'll just give you a look at this chart, right? So if you just look at that insanity right here, that was 2017, right? But you just have to remember that prior, in early phases of 2017 as well, let me just zoom in to here, to the July period, there were dips. There were dips along the way where people got scared and there was nothing around for a while. So this is actually quite relevant to what we're talking about now as well, where it can go up, but there are periods where it pretty much went down quite a lot as well. So that's pretty poor. And let's see, put user. So we have a good question, and this is something that I would just want to say as well, and this is part of the discussion too. So Terminator Waifu News says, Hex did 116x. Why don't you discuss that? Laughing my ass off. And this is pretty much the equivalent of saying, BitConnect did insane back in 2017. Why don't you talk about that, right? Why don't you scam millions of people or thousands of people? Sorry, not millions, thousands of people. No, we don't do that because we actually have ethics on this channel. So Hex is yet again one of those situations where it just came out, plummeted to almost nothing. And then, of course, people picked it up because they feel like this kind of like Ponzi-nomics work very well. At the end of the day, for something like Hex, I'm avidly against it. And the reason for that is because it doesn't provide any form of value. It just says, look, we're going to print more. We're going to give you more. But it doesn't do anything in external on top of that. And that is when it becomes a pyramid scheme. Now, the other difference of Hex is that it makes it intentionally confusing. So then on top of that, there are people who believe it does provide external value, in which case it doesn't just make it a pyramid scheme, it makes it a Ponzi scheme. So anyways, we don't talk about Ponzi's here. So we got Hex Connect, and that's the thing with crypto. There are a lot of coins that can go up, but just because it's audited or it can go up doesn't mean it's legitimate. And it could very well plummet down to oblivion. And this is something that also happened on this channel too, something called Tweeba. So I'll show you guys Tweeba. It was very, very interesting. It was very funny as well. But this is the graph for Tweeba. And there are quite a few people who are talking about it. They were very, very interested in it. And if you look at the volume up too, it's kind of insane. So this was actually pretty big in China. So it started off roughly around $1 or $2, and then the market makers picked it. And then they started saying, you know what, this is the best coin in the world. Just look at that. Just look at that run up. There was no need to do TA on this coin. Absolutely no need. There were no signs for TA either. It's literally a mathematical equation. It was market made to perfection. And there were many people who literally made millions off it. Millions. And yeah, it's like we saw evidence of that too. Like I was actually doing some minor research into this. And yet again, it's one of those situations where this might look good, right? This might look attractive. But what happens is that as time progressed, you get a slam. That's what happened. That is what happened. So just move a little bit, boom, boom, everything. Just one big red candle obliterated. And that's the problem with crypto. Crypto, there are no real regulations regarding this. And something interesting about Tweeba too was kind of hilarious too. It's it had as many factors trying to make it look legitimate as possible. In fact, it had a third generation Rockefeller, actually not third generation, fifth generation Rockefeller, Stephen Rockefeller endorsing it. He was like, I endorse Tweeba.
I welcome you to a very special spot, a view that my great uncle enjoyed.
Anyways, you guys can watch that. It's kind of funny, but they literally used a big face. They showed it all around China. People bought into this MLM style and then just got obliterated. Just total obliteration. Goodbye. Enjoy. Have a nice life. Yeah, pretty much done. So that's pretty much the situation we have in crypto, where you do definitely want to be very careful. And recently, I drew some criticism for this as well. Everyone's like, you know what, you started off being degen first, and then now you're being so careful. Why? There's a big reason for that. It's because right now the market's just not suitable for being a degenerate, right? At the end of the day, the number of rug pulls is drastically outnumbering the number of legitimate projects in the space. So I've been a lot more cautious. So just the amount of caution in my brain, right, is much greater. There's people scamming farmers. Back in the day, it weren't as many people scamming farmers. Nowadays, it's like water, right? Like people stealing other people's liquidity pools. It's savage. It's beyond savage. So this is why, yeah, like for me, just personally taking a little bit of a rest break. My personal opinion, all right, this is my personal prediction or my personal thoughts on this is, let me just switch that to my drawing tablet, which will be actually awesome. So my personal take is this, right? I personally think that we could enter kind of like so this is what happened, and then we kind of broke off. We're down here. So I mean, this is the whole DeFi run. This is DeFi unicorn. And the problem with DeFi was that because too many people bought in too quickly, and this is always how it happens, it got too hot and then it just dropped all the way down, right? So roughly what happened, right? But now there's gonna be, I feel like there's gonna be positive pressure in the coming months. And so there's a lot going on, right? There's institutional investment. We saw evidence of Bitcoin BTC buying. We saw evidence of ETH 2.0. We know that it's going to be a release soon. So I feel like the positive pressure could be coming in 1 or 2 months. It could be potentially there. This is why I still have quite a lot of ETH, etc. So this is quite important to remember that crypto doesn't die, right? It goes in phases and waves, and I feel like they could take a longer break, and this is absolutely possible. But in terms of what DeFi has done, right, I don't think that should be forgotten too, in terms of the ability for us to just go on a lending platform and create synthetic assets. Someone was talking about Lena earlier. Yeah, absolutely. Being able to create a synthetic version of an asset like USD, that's absolutely possible, proven already by the DAI. And then we can create synthetic versions of everything else and start trading that. And that becomes a powerful tool to solve issues. So there's so many facets of DeFi being tackled right now. And I feel like we just got a taste of it. And it might take a few months and even years for it to come to fruition. But this is pretty much the situation of crypto. So anyways, that's kind of the 2 cents. I think let's gonna wrap up a little bit of a discussion. I think there's a lot of discussion on Hex for some reason. It's kind of funny. Like I said, just look at the associations with Hex. It's all about, oh my God, we can create infinite amounts of money. And I think something that's quite clear here in crypto, and this is something I was discussing a little bit earlier on the Telegram group as well, is that it's possible, especially for YouTube. It's very easy. If you want to succeed in YouTube, the best way is to generate a lot of drama. And we know YouTubers who do that. And that's entertaining, right? That's like popcorn entertainment. And, you know, John McAfee too. It's very good popcorn entertainment if you like that sort of entertainment. But recently, I've been kind of moving away from that because it provides no form of value. In fact, it provides negative value because your brain is holding information that's completely worthless. For me, it's about being focused on a few good projects that can deliver. And if they can deliver, I win. And so this has kind of been the focus of 2020. You can obviously see, and I've said that for a while, that during the farming phases, my focus was primarily on farming. I like this channel. We've been consistently producing content for this channel, but I also want to make a lot of money, right? It's like, that's just the honest truth, right? If I focused all my time on making YouTube content, yeah, financially I'll be mediocre, but I don't want to be financially mediocre. I want to be a little bit bigger than that. So it's kind of been the focus of this year for me to farm. Okay, and now because farming is dropping down a bit for me right now, the biggest focus is finding the best projects going forward. Like, that's been a big focus, and it's been very profitable for me this year, also investing in different projects, whether early stage or late stage or medium stage. It's been extremely profitable. I feel like this is one of the areas where, like, just learning from the past, this is the cradle of innovation, right? This is where everything, like, it's kind of funny, right? All of a sudden, Silicon Valley, all those like VCs in Silicon Valley, they've been flocking to the crypto VCs. There's a reason for that, because there's so much innovation here. It's pretty much untapped ground. So this is where all of a sudden, like, I am the luckiest person in the world because I'm thrown in the forefront of all this, and being able to learn so much along the way. I've been very grateful, and I've been very much sharing that information on this channel for a reason, because I feel like we're pretty much at that cutting edge, right? Like, I know I've said this a million times, but I'll say this again. Stuff like this only comes every 10 years, right? Like, say for example, recently in the last a little bit more than 10 years was the invention of the smartphone, right? The first iPhone. I know we're at iPhone 12 now, so roughly 10 years makes sense. But the first iPhone, when it came along, what happened? There was a sudden rise of apps, right? Suddenly on phones, you need apps, and that was the cutting edge. That was when innovation came, whether it's Instagram, whether it's all that Uber stuff. That changed people because there was a new form, a new medium, a new opening. Before that was the social media revolution, whereas Facebook, there was all that Zynga games, all those like Farmville and stuff. That was a new era for innovation as well. And even before that, the internet, right? The internet marked the start of something new. And right here, we're at blockchain. We're at the rise of blockchain, the ability to move value, the ability for smart contracts to hold value. I think this is the strongest innovation too, where all of a sudden we can start trusting a decentralized entity. When we're talking about OKX before, and a centralized entity holding all $1.5 billion of crypto, that's no longer necessary in the decentralized finance world. And I feel like this is one of the biggest powers in this place. That we just saw the rise of a decentralized exchange, Uniswap. Like, this is, we're at the utter forefront of everything here. And I feel like this is an opportunity not to be squandered. I feel like if you're like, it'll be cool. It's cool to just like, entertain ourselves, do some drama, call people evil. But, why squander this opportunity if if it just feels it's such a waste, right? If you have the ability to create something now, or to research something now, or to gain assets at this time, now is the time. So there we go. That's my 2 cents on all this. Why not? All right, so Brick says, yeah, I learned so much. We've been this space has been like extremely great, especially I think the other topic, I know I'm digressing a little bit, but the other topic here is being able to understand trading. It's something that you have to learn, and how to control greed, how to risk manage, and everyone has their own journey there. Everyone has a different strategy that works out for them. This is why there are so many different funds and so many different strategies, because they cater to different people. So sometimes seeing a financial consultant work, sometimes just learning. Like for me, I learned this from kind of just brute force, right? Like learning from my mistakes. And I made plenty of that. I shared plenty of that. I made plenty of those. And being able to spread out that portfolio has now been very, very key to my strategies going forward. And I think that's something everyone has to discover. And so I definitely encourage you to see a financial consultant if you don't need to. I've done that personally myself too. Not too useful, to be honest. Like for me personally, I feel like financial consultants, they don't understand crypto. So you kind of take some ideas that they have and then take some understandings of what they have. But definitely, I'm not a financial consultant. You should find your own journey, etc. There we go. Anonymous says, I got lucky. I got wrecked in 2013. I learned early, and that's pretty much the same thing for me too. Like, it takes a beating for us to understand, and it's also a clear situation where after learning from 2017, I don't touch, like, when you see a situation like what we have now, where there's so many rug pulls, where there's so much scam going on, it's just time for you for caution. Like, I know it's hard to say that, but it is the caution time. Anyways, there we go. So let's take a look. We got Honeyswap will take over Uni. Oh my god, there's so many Honeyswap shows for the past week. It's kind of funny, but you guys all know, in terms of being all reasonable and stuff, Uni invented way too much for them not to have that lead. Especially with Uniswap, like there's rumors of 3.0 coming out, the next generation of swapping with acceleration. There's just way too much liquidity on Uni and too much good faith on Uni to actually replace it. Like, realistically speaking, like, let's be honest, that's like not even the biggest Uniswap fan, but realistically speaking, they distributed enough Uni to enough people to get them listed everywhere, like on Coinbase, on Binance and stuff on day one. They have an enormous user base, and it's once that's established, it's extremely hard to replace. Like, we've seen SushiSwap try to do that, but doesn't really kick off. We saw MoonSwap, we saw a bunch of these swaps trying to replace them. They can take a portion of that market share, but it's extremely hard, especially when new tech can come out there. So anyways, CRO and OKB took a deep dive this week, and that's the case, right? So following up on everything else, we have, let's just take a look, quick glance at the news coin. And you guys know how I glance at news. I just literally glanced at news. So we'll do that today with everyone here. All right, so cryptocurrencies to watch this week. Please ignore that. That makes no sense. This is like one thing they always post, and it's like everyone clicks on it, but there's virtually no reason to actually look on it too much. They're just basically showing a bunch of coins. Yeah, it's not really meaningful. We got Peter Schiff's bank under investigation in tax evasion probe. Poor Peter Schiff. Don't, like, that guy is just crazy. Seller shortage. Bitcoin exchange reserves plunge as BitMEX bleeds BTC. We saw a little bit of that. It's just bullish, classic bullish news. Yeah, not too much. Let's be honest, not too much happening in crypto. We got a bunch of stuff towards CBDC, so central bank digital currencies. After China did that, everyone's talking about it. So China started something called DCEP. Everyone went crazy over DCEP. They're actually giving that out for free for residents of Shenzhen. But right now, to be honest, everyone's trying to play the catch-up game. Even Hong Kong Monetary Authority is trying to look into a CBDC. So that's kind of the situation that everything is going on here. Yeah, not too much. We got some questions about stuck transactions. I actually have a very good video on that, so check that out. But at this point, I think it's very rare to have a stuck transaction, right? With gas prices being so cheap. ETH gas station. Yeah, I don't really see. Okay, so it goes up. Usually what happens when Asia wakes up, you see gas prices moving up a bit, but at 28 for standard payments, that's pretty darn good. That's pretty darn good. It's not bad. We're at a different time, guys. We're at a different time. We're at a cooling time. All right. No longer stuck recent lately. It's good. It's good. It's been doing good. In terms of yield farming as well, I feel like I've pretty much kind of made a big pause. I'm still in a lot of the pools. Like a lot of people ask me, am I still in YFE? Am I in this one and that one? I'm still in a lot of pools. I haven't really changed much from a month ago. It's unfortunate that there hasn't been any good new opportunities I can leave my funds in for a week or so. There were a few, like there was one secret one that I wasn't supposed to share, and I'm still not sharing it. Unfortunately, that's just like secret. But that's only for a small portion of my funds. Most of it's stuck in uni, some stuck in YFE, some stuck right now in Cream for the swag finance. Not too much, not too much. I mean, at the end of the day, like I was saying before, there isn't much motivation for me to move farms. Let me actually see if this actually works. Yeah, like I was saying, there wasn't much need for me to move farms from, say, a small farm like at like say 30% now for something, moving that to a new farm at 60 and taking that risk. It's not as great as when, back in the day when 300 to 600%, right? This is actually quite clear, and this was when you need to spend a lot of time, right? Because the difference between this is 300%, but difference here now is 30%. So it's like it's not as big. I mean, 30%, don't get me wrong, is still money, right? It's still money. It might be a few $100s a day even, but at the end of the day, because this can incur risk, right? What if this can steal 100% of your money? Right? What if this is a rug pull? And this is why I'm calming down a lot, because it's just no longer worth it to take the extra risk for that. And I'm just kind of sticking with what's a little bit safer on my end. That's kind of the situation here. So yes, I'm the best drawing person on the planet. On that as well. So yeah, that's pretty much my crypto story. So today what we do have a few things scheduled. So I'm doing a few more interviews, few talks, learning a lot more about a few things. So first of all, Filecoin, learning just a little bit, not buying. All right, obviously it's and you guys have if you've been watching the channel and following what I've been telling you guys about Filecoin, it pretty much played exactly the way I said it'll play out. First of all, it needed to make noise, and a lot of people didn't believe me. They're like, Filecoin's not going to make noise. I pretty much told you guys, because it was so big in China, it had to make noise. 100%. And I said that during the interview I had with Crust. I said that a little bit earlier before. This was a given because there's so much money invested in Filecoin in China, it had to make noise. Second thing I said is it had to push up on day one because all the early investors needed to get out. And there's a situation where they just had to pump. If they didn't pump, like I said, it was like the darker undertone to that will be some people have their legs broken. Very likely, because that's the way investments work in China. If you don't pump, if investors don't manage to get out with your money, they will find a way to screw you over. That's pretty much it. So it had to move up, and move up it did. So yeah, it moved up, but because of the very limited supply of Filecoin at the start, so you can actually look at it, it started off very, very high. I think, in fact, on a day one, this is CoinGecko is doing a disservice. There we go. Let's find it. There we go. Hello, hello, hello. So it had to move up, but at the same time, there was a lot of fundamentals. There was a lot of sell pressure. It moved up literally. The sale price was less than $1, right? So now being above $100, people are going to cash out, take profit. And because the initial supply was low, you can kind of see like this is kind of insane as well. If you look at the market cap, it's 500. It's almost $500 million right now. With the fully diluted valuation, it's at $60 billion. And I was just like spamming that out when it first released, right? Because at $60 billion, it's actually higher than Ethereum, right? It makes no sense, right? It makes zero sense whatsoever. So fundamentals came in, just slam. I don't understand who or what is buying it. Most likely market makers in China were buying it just to prop it up for a few hours so people can get out. But anyways, that's pretty much the situation. It just plummeted all the way down, and it's trying to find where it is. This doesn't mean that Filecoin is useless. Absolutely not. I feel like it has a lot of potential and power. It's just a matter of right now, because of all this kind of like craziness, insanity market making that's going on, is It's just something I don't want to get involved in. But once that's over, it's kind of the same situation Polkadot. Once that's over, there's a lot of value there. So both Filecoin and Polkadot, they kind of combine together, and Ethereum 2.0 and all that stuff, they combine together to make the Web 3.0 dream come true. But yet again, it's like, when do you want to choose to have that exposure becomes a key issue. And because, because of the insanity now, for me, it's not the right time. But I'm learning about it, and I'm learning a lot about Polkadot as well. So it's like on my list of things to research, we got Dot, we got Phil, I got Uncle Phil here. Sorry, I'm supposed to put that in. We got Phil, we got Injective. That's new. It's decentralized futures. And this is actually quite important now because especially after OKX and all the centralized exchanges, they have their own chain, they have their own exchange that's coming up. I've also been looking a little bit at Oasis. This is a project that I did get into quite early on in 2017, and they've been kind of the most legit in terms of the tech. Right now, it's like it was Don's song, and that's upcoming in an interview as well. Been speaking to that and been learning a lot more about Paratime. We will have a talk upcoming with actually today. Actually, will be a live discussion in around 12 hours, less than 12 hours, with the guys at Fuse. So this is something that one of my friends, Isaac, recommended, Fuse, and they're doing kind of real world usage, real world communities and usage with a huge community base. Been looking at, what else have I been looking at? Persistence if I can spell properly. What is with R? It starts P-E-R. All right, and that, yeah, so I've been looking at that. Obviously, you guys know I've invested in Swag last week. That's been doing pretty well, to say the least. Pretty darn well. So, yeah. That's pretty much the research I've been doing. And Ronnie Ray says Nest protocol. Absolutely. Nest. I have Nest up here. Nest. Ooh, got pretty colorful pens. But yeah, that's pretty much a lot of stuff been researching. This is also why I need to take a break, because sometimes you're just like way too much to look at and to see. So anyways, all right, we got a good question here as well. We got Tulasario land cases. Hi, Michael. Can you recommend any yield farming project with zero impermanent loss whose contracts have been audited, and also share your 2 cents about yield farming projects and yield farming? So, I'll be honest, there are barely any good pools with no impermanent loss. It's like free money, right? Because everyone wants free money is gone. Like, you're asking a little bit too much, I think, to Sario. Sorry for butchering your name. You're asking for a little bit too much. There's no longer free lunch anymore. Back in the day, yes, a little bit, when projects were distributing. But at this point, if you want no impermanent loss, fully audited smart contracts, and you want to make money, everything has risks, right? Here's my take on it. If you want audited contracts and you want stuff, you can check out Y vaults, and the rates aren't that great anymore. All right, so in fact, even Y vaults aren't even audited, to be fair. Yeah, unfortunately, there's a lot of these contracts. If you're asking for fully audited, no risk whatsoever, pull money out of your bank and put it in crypto sort of situation, no, it's like it's barely anything. But for a starter, so generally speaking, what I've been looking at for a starter, if you're okay with less than 10%, Y vaults could be good. So you're getting something like 5% on your USDT. A few things here to note. Y vaults, it still has strategies, and there is a lot of inherent risk. So not the impermanent loss risk, it's not audited, but yet again, it's like even though it's not fully audited and they're on their way to get audits, rates are low right now. Like Y vaults, yeah, like curve LPs are getting like 3%, 3.6%. Or if you deposit USDT, you get 5%, which is barely anything, right? It feels bad, man. It feels bad. But that's just the case, right? If you want is reduce risk, if you don't want any impermanent loss, you don't want exposure to any coins, we got to live with that 5%, and even lower if you want fully audited and even less risk, right? So yeah, we're at the stage where now high risk, you can maybe get like 30%, 40% for your money, but yeah, that's pretty much the case. So low risk, low reward. Cryptogram says Aave. So from my understanding is that vaults will tap into Aave. Let's take a look at Aave rates. But the other issue with Lend is that Lend is actually also very complicated, right? That's the other difference. Let me just take a quick look at Aave. Enter markets. Everything is low. I was surprised. I was actually quite surprised how low a lot of these rates are these days. I was looking at like Cream, like back in the day, we'll get like 20% on our Bitcoin, but not anymore. So yeah, Aave, you get, I think for SUSD, you get some good rates here, 50%, but for ETH, you get 0.6%. I'm getting that right. Yeah, deposit APY, you're getting nothing. It's like the well's been drying up. I mean, DAI, you can get like 4%, right? 3.9. I mean, Aave's been audited. You have no impermanent loss. You get 3%. It's not terribly exciting. It's like, I don't know, for 3%, would you guys save it there? I mean, or would you just like throw it on something like Binance? I don't know. Or just like take it out. I'm not too sure anymore. Not too sure. Like the rates are pretty low, so yeah. John says just use Celsius at that point. The biggest issue I have with Celsius is that it's all centralized, right? I know I'm a hypocrite. I'm like, there's Binance, there's Celsius. Neither of them are very optimal. I feel like Binance will, I don't know, I'm not even sure which one's better, but like Celsius is not protected in any form, right? Like you have no protection on your funds and you're taking risk. I mean, you're trying to trust Alex that it will go well, and it's pretty much a black box. Binance, on the other hand, it should be more safe because they're a bigger entity. So, you know, if their deposits screw up, then people will naturally try to screw over the exchange as well. So if you think about it from a strategic angle, right? So say if like Celsius pulls the rug, there's no real consequence. But if Binance pulls the rug on their deposits, there will be consequences because people will screw over the exchange, right? So they have $1 billion business over there, so they don't want to screw that up. But the other flip side, of course, is also about regulation. Like this is very, very unregulated space. So what can happen in the future? I don't know with these centralized entities. I'm very, very suspicious of the centralized kind of deposits, and I would just personally just sit here and wait, see what happens in a month or 2 weeks from here, and see how that goes. That's my 2 cents on it. Not a very big pro guy, and what about it? So El Rickster says Stabilize pretty good too. Stabilize is actually built by one of our community members, so congrats to Happy Side Duck. Now with Stabilize as well, I think they need to find something to do with all that. Like, what's the use of stable? Let me see what the rates are. Let's see. Stabilize. Oh, Stabilize is not bad. Yeah, it's not bad. Got like 50% for SUSD, got 30% for USDT. That's actually not bad. I still have to look into it. I have actually not really looked into too much into the contract side of Stabilize, but I should definitely talk to Happy Side Duck about it. I think that would be pretty cool. So yeah. Okay, let's see. Guts and Glory. Hey, Michael, it'd be nice to get another light on right on top of you as a key light. I can. I mean, I can turn on this light here. Okay, maybe not, but maybe. Maybe I've been thinking a lot. I've been thinking about my hair looks like a mess right now, so it's a horrific mess. But guys, whilst you guys are watching the stream, please do smash up the likes. Really do appreciate it. It's been pretty cool. So make sure you smash up the likes. It really does help the channel too. It's been great. So I think that's kind of today's session. I mean, it's not too long. I know it's one of the shorter sessions. There's actually not too much on news front. So what we'll do is we'll have another session on Friday. So we'll do a Friday session. I mean, all the sessions here are here. We also have a live event for Fuse today. So if you guys want to come and tune in, a lot about adoption. They have communities around the world. They are basically building on top of Ethereum, but offering scaling. It's one of the projects that I'm also advising, but advising with an asterisk as well. So I'm kind of like trying to push them for certain things, and that's good. So I'll really hope you guys will come with a lot of questions involved, especially if you guys want to take a look at Fuse. They're doing their public rounds. They have validators set up. Their tech is actually really, really legit. But at the same time, I think they need to understand the market a bit more, which is kind of what I'm doing there. So anyways, so come in tonight with a lot of questions. It's kind of interesting. The founders behind Fuse are the guys who did Color Coins. And Color Coins is kind of crazy because it's what Vitalik did. I mean, right before Ethereum, he was on Color Coins too. So anyways, it's a very, very OG project. So let me set up that event tonight. Let's see how that goes. Create schedule stream. Create new one. Next level adoption. Fuse interview. All right, we'll do that tonight. It will be scheduled late tonight. Let's see. All right, that's there. I'll have to create the live stream image, the thumbnail for that soon. But anyways, I'll schedule that for tonight. Also, whilst we're waiting, guys, send out your ERC20 addresses. We have the box mining NFT giveaway. So make sure you throw out your addresses and I'll draw one at random. So we have the cool NFT, the box mining original NFT. This was one created way before the NFT waves was popular. It's kind of insane. A lot of people are asking about NFTs. But yeah, we do them giveaway. We don't charge money for them. That's how we roll on this channel. Maybe we'll start an art gallery. I think a lot of people are interested in this art gallery idea. But for now, we have the free NFTs to give away. So anyways, let's put that down. Put this here. Done. Set this up. And let's put the other one here. So let's throw down your ERC20 addresses. Get shareable link. And that's for the other one. So anyways, all right, let's keep going. And then I'll spam your ERC20 addresses on. I'll show you guys the cool NFT you got. And it's actually created by a really good artist too. It's let's see, this one. Show you, and it's in your wallet too. So you can, it's in the Engine wallet, collect public, assets, box mining. So this is my box mining collection, and this is the original OG box mining ERC20. So this is pretty cool. So check that out. So everyone's pushing that now. Let me just close my eyes and let me just All right, we got Oleg. Oleg, congrats for winning. So that's good. Oleg, that is winner chicken dinner. Yeah. So that's pretty much it for today, guys. Not too much. I think it's a quiet day and there's no need to push that out too much. Yeah. So congrats, Oleg, for winning. And that was his address. Thanks, guys, for watching today. Not too much going on. Oh, Ash, by the way, make sure you check out the Bitcoin podcast, the Bitcoin Out of Box podcast. There's more coming up soon. And yeah, we'll see you guys on tonight, actually, for Fuse. And then we'll see you guys on Monday for the schedule live stream. And with that, guys, thank you guys so much for watching.